Forensic medicine social work is unique because we're in a system where we have the medical, the legal, and then the psychosocial aspects of the role.
It's a specialised role in grief and loss, and positioned within the coronial and forensic processes to support families after a death reported to the coroner.
So as soon as we get information from the police about a person that their death has been reported to the coroner, we have the information to connect with who we understand the senior next of kin to be. We make contact, and it is, you can hear the sigh of relief in families when they just go, somebody knows what's going on. They've come out of the fog of this very sudden and unexpected news, and somebody can tell them where their loved one is physically. And sometimes they don't even know that.
This is Salam, social worker from Forensic Medicine. I'm calling you to confirm that John is in our care.
Their life and their future that they thought they knew, that's been irreversibly broken and into a million different pieces, and those pieces will never go back together the same way again. So as families are trying to find their way through that and make sense of the death, their grief, what that means, and how to get through those and put one foot in front of the other in those early days and weeks, I consider it early intervention. And what we know from families over a long period of time is that the right support at the right time, supporting them in their grief, and taking the sting out of this additional level of complexity that's thrown on top of their grief through the coroner's process and potential inquests and post-mortem examinations, and not knowing the circumstances or the cause of death and injuries to the person and time frames, all those sorts of things turn the volume up on people's grief.
When we first meet you here at Forensic Medicine, I'll meet you in our family room, so I can give you any updates that we have for your mum at that time.
Social workers in viewings engage with families in a way where there is, intense distress, but our role is to stand beside the family and facilitate their access to the deceased and provide containment and support. And, we don't want to fix it. We want them to have the experience. We want them to engage with their emotional response. But sometimes there might be the need to provide some containment.
So once families come through to this space, often they'll choose to stand here to spend some time with loved ones. They do have the opportunity to come through into this space to be a bit closer to their loved ones. So obviously we'll have their loved ones set up here, and families will often come around them, spend time, hold and touch.
People like to bring things to leave with the person that they've come to visit. They might like to play music. They might need to call somebody to be on FaceTime that can't be here. We, support all of those options.
And when it comes to viewings, we'll provide information about how that person looks, and so for people who want to spend time with that person at the earliest opportunity, they've got that opportunity to do that, as well as that preparation and care and support so that they know what to expect, how they might look different to when they last saw them, how they might feel, their skin might feel cold to touch. There might be some discoloration that's caused because the blood's not circulating anymore. So we'll have those conversations in a direct and honest way, and a big part of what we do is talking honestly and directly to people about difficult things.
There's some real myths about what happens in a mortuary or at a forensic medicine facility. The social work team touch all aspects of this work, but we can only do the work that we do because we're supported by the forensic pathologists, the mortuary technicians, who do an amazing job restoring the body where there's traumatic injury and preparing the body for the viewing that the family gets to come in and see.
At your most vulnerable, at your most unprepared, to have the support of a professional social worker talking you through, physically supporting you through potentially having to identify your loved one or just choosing to spend some time with them is very rewarding, because I think what we know from research and lived experience of families, that saying goodbye, ensuring that it is their person that has died, is the first very important step into a bereavement process.
Because we help them to put the pieces back together, to find out information about what's happened to the person, to provide information and support. It might be, for example, how do we tell our kids, what support do we provide, how do we talk about suicide, how do we keep our relationships in our family going, how do we keep the person who died in our lives in a way that helps us to face the future with hope and optimism again. They're all parts of the process that requires forensic medicine social work support.